For starters, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I think I can name all the movies in chronological order from the top of my head, within a minute, I think. So when I was given opportunity to write a brand new Godzilla movie, I was over the moon excited. Opportunities like this comes once in a lifetime, and I wasn't planning on wasting it any second longer. But sadly, I talked to you all about my experience writing this film, where many rats are now scurrying past me, all going in the same direction, away from the terror that is going on outside. It's a long story, but let me start from the beginning. Chapter 1. The Muse Beckons. The chance to shape the narrative of a Godzilla film, to infuse the colossal creature with a sense of grounded realism, was a dream come true. As a lifelong Godzilla fan, and now a screenwriter granted the opportunity to breathe new life into the iconic monster. It was even better being given a secluded office, walls adorned with Godzilla memorabilia and concept art. I embraced this journey to craft a tale that transcended the fantastical. Each keystroke echoed my passion for the behemoth, merging the love of my childhood with a newfound responsibility to usher Godzilla into a new era of terror. Chapter 2. The Abyss Unveiled. Weeks turned into months as the narrative unfolded before me like a colossal canvas. The story delved into the darkest recesses of human fears, birthing a Godzilla that was not merely a monster, but a manifestation of the collective dread that lurked within our psyches. My office became a sanctuary, the birthplace of an incarnation that stood at the intersection of nightmare and reality. I immersed myself in the creation, unaware that the boundaries between fiction and reality were beginning to blur. Chapter 3. Shadows in the Sky. Upon completing the script, I eagerly invited my co-worker Emily to read my magnum opus. As she leafed through the pages, I could see the reflection of horror in her eyes. The tale had come alive on the page, and a subtle unease lingered in the air. Suddenly, an explosion shattered the tranquility. The sky, once serene, transformed into a macabre palette of black and red. A distant roar reverberated, a guttural symphony that announced the arrival of the nightmare Godzilla I had conjured. Chapter 4. Unleashing the Beast. Peering out the window, we witnessed the unthinkable, a Godzilla that defied the laws of fiction, rampaging through the city. The military mobilized, their futile attempts at containment only fueling the monster's fury. Panic gripped the streets as buildings crumbled under the colossal force. In the deafening chaos, Emily and I exchanged terrified glances. It dawned on us that the creature I had birthed through fiction was now a living nightmare, a puppet master, pulling the strings of destruction. Chapter 5. Desperate Creations. The city screamed in agony as Godzilla's rampage continued unabated. A realization gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. I had to rectify the horror I had unleashed. Racing against time, I feverishly began to draft a new creature, a counterbalance to the monstrous force that now terrorized reality. With every keystroke, I prayed for salvation. The ink on the page seemed to bleed with urgency, mirroring the desperation etched on my face. As the narrative unfolded, I hoped against hope that this creation would be the key to quelling the nightmare. Chapter 6. The Hollow Defeat. A seismic tremor shook the ground as the new creature manifested in the cityscape. However, before it could even take a single step, Godzilla's wrath descended upon it. The creature I had birthed in desperation crumbled under the relentless assault. Its existence snuffed out in an instant. Desperation twisted into despair as I witnessed my creation's futile demise. The nightmare I had hoped would vanquish Godzilla became a sacrificial offering, consumed by the very darkness it sought to combat. Chapter 7. A Fractured Plan. Realizing the inadequacy of my creations, I faced the grim truth. I was the puppeteer, and the strings of destruction were entwined with my own hands. A new plan formed within the recesses of my frantic mind. If I couldn't create a savior, perhaps I could manipulate Godzilla into self-destruction. Chapter 8. Confronting the Beast. As I emerged from the underground cabin, the city lay in ruins. Godzilla, now a force untethered, turned its attention towards me. Panic surged through my veins, but there was no turning back. I stared into the abyss of the monster's eyes, a reflection of the horrors I had birthed. In the eerie calm before Godzilla's impending wrath, I enacted my desperate plan. Words spilled from my lips, a concoction of lies and deceit designed to unravel the very core of the creature. As the final sentence escaped, Godzilla's gaze shifted, torn between reality and the fiction I had spun. Chapter 9. The escape with Godzilla momentarily distracted, I seized the opportunity to escape. Sprinting through the debris-laden streets, I navigated the chaotic battleground. The once vivid fantasy of crafting a Godzilla story now mutated into a nightmarish reality. The ground trembled as Godzilla roared behind me, its wrath echoing through the desolate city. Dodging fallen debris, I stumbled upon an underground cabin, a refuge amidst the chaos. Slamming the door shut, I caught my breath, the echo of Godzilla's footsteps fading into the hollow silence. Epilogue. The Writer's Abyss. As I sit in the underground refuge, haunted by the destruction I had wrought, the boundaries between reality and fiction blur into a disconcerting haze. The nightmare Godzilla, a living embodiment of my darkest imagination, looms over the fractured city. The keyboard, once a vessel for dreams, is now a reminder of the Pandora's box I had opened. In the silence of the underground cabin, I grapple with the paradox. The storyteller turned captive of his own creation. The nightmare persists, a manifestation of the abyss within, and I am left to navigate the shattered remnants of my once beloved Godzilla fantasy.